Wait a minute.
Yes. All right. And welcome everybody to pregame for Sword Coast Chronicles. I am DM Galaban, and you are listening to The Sounds of Sirenscape, a lovely little sound set called Friendly Tavern, where the minstrels are playing, the patrons are eating and drinking, and coins are being tossed around on the table. We will be getting started around at the top of the hour. Hello, Ivy. Hello, Michael. Hello, Paul. How are you all doing this evening?
I'm here.
I'm here, and I'm also knows up here. Well, I'm here as well.
You're here, and your head is clear.
Hey, Paul, meet me in the off stream for 1 second.
Yeah, sounds good. Be right back.
I see. I come and everyone leaves.
Oh, goodness. Yes. Ivy, how's your week been?
It's been absolutely tiring, but I'm still here.
Yay!
Yeah, they have me on 9 till basically 6 shifts every single day.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're also asking me to stay late majority of the days too. For no good reason. But you know what? At least I'm here.
Yeah.
And I'm not too tired right now, so.
Well, as long as the checks keep cashing, right? As long as they
Let's
keep.
hope.
Yeah.
Let's see if I have another lucky day like the Sunday session.
Yeah, that was
Bell
There's
rules
like-
the day.
thank goodness that Elora was there. She that might have been a tough combat if she hadn't been there.
If you haven't, go watch it. It was amazing. I'm proud.
Yes.
First time that I actually ruled a combat.
Yes.
I know she's always been important, but oof, she really pulled her own weight.
Oh yeah, she saved the party, especially in that one thing when you have both the barbarian and the cleric getting knocked down by that ability.
Secrecy,
Alright.
because go watch it yourself.
Yeah.
Well, geez, for once, I'm not the late one.
No. We know that James is going to be late tonight. Haven't heard from Goonie or Ken. They're going to be late.
I bet they'll come soon.
Yes.
But I am going to go get a drink before I forget.
Okay.
Because I literally just got home, so.
Okay. All right.
I promise we didn't run away.
No. Aloha.
I'm just missing Ken, I guess.
Yes. Hello, hello. How are we doing this evening?
Okay.
Good. All right.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Getting good grades.
Alright. Don't nobody worry about me.
Yeah.
It's so bright, you gotta wear shades, Gally.
Yeah, something like that. Alright, so we're gonna do that. And oh, whoops.
There he is.
Dun 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 dun.
Green giant.
Ha ha ha, green giant. Alright, everybody. Now that we're getting our adventurers here, we will go ahead and finally get the session started. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to session 78 of the Sword Coast Chronicles. I am DM Galabond, and tonight we are in a session I like to call Stalking Iymrith. As of last session, our heroes had met with King Hecaton, and had between the party and the king, they had discovered where Iymrith's lair is. Then King Hecaton came up to the castle of Armaal and had an audience with Felgalos, the bronze dragon, and they reached an agreement in principle to fight Iymrith together with the giants and several dragons. And the things that are left for the giants and the dragons to do is for King Hecaton to go off stage and recruit the other giants and get them on board with this plan, for Felgalos to go off stage and get the other dragons ready, and for the party on stage to make sure that they have everything they want and need to be ready to take on this dragon. So, what I am going to do is I am going to change us to another soundscape here, where we have sort of the environmental sounds in the background. And party, you all are in Armaal. Last time we saw you, you were in the throne room. But there are several irons that you all have in the fire. What are some things that you would like to make sure as a group that you get done before you're ready to take on this big dragon?
This competition with the fire giants to create Falazure's armor would be nice to finish off, so that'd be ready for the fight. I believe we said it would take 10 days for the fire giants to do that kind of work.
Yes.
Have 10 days.
You're awful quiet, Ken Reed.
Sorry. Is this any better?
Little, yeah.
Little bit, yeah. Yeah, at first I thought you were in the. I thought you were over in the or away from your mic a little bit. So
That
yes.
would be an accurate assumption. I was stuffing my face with the leftover bolognese sauce. I didn't want to disturb anyone.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
You wouldn't be Crenrade if he wasn't eating.
Or drinking.
Well, I drink the amount of wine.
All right. So we have Crenrade wants to make sure that the giants have time to get the armor done.
While they're doing that, I'm making the scepter for Falagos.
And you're making the scepter. Tack, what are you working on in the next few days?
Well, I'm actually going to work on helping with whatever armor repairs, trying to learn as much as I can to increase my blacksmithing skill from the fire giants, and I'm so sorry, that just kind of slipped out. And then hanging out with Crenrade. That's about it.
We're working on the scepter together, me and Thaldohr, I think, is working the filigree. Yeah.
Yes, I'm working the filigree. But I do tell both of them I need a magical crossbow. I'm not going to be any use with this, and I pull out my crossbow. It's done me well, but it won't do any better against something that's magical.
Yeah, we should probably talk to the fire giants about that.
Yeah, the other thing would be just trying to empty out the portable hole and clean out the crap that I just tossed in there recently.
Well, Bell and Falazure know where a magical crossbow can be purchased.
Ooh.
It's unclear whether they would be the best people to go and purchase it, but
well, there are a couple of other people that could. I might be interested in going and seeing what my luck is with this person.
Okay.
Well, Mulek's got the cash.
Falazure would just probably tell them where they can go and get it. Just get in, get out. You know what I mean, kind of thing. Like the guy.
Yeah.
The guy was pretty firm on his prices.
Oh, why did you get it then?
Yeah. Why did you come back empty-handed?
Belle only smiles and looks at Falazure, saying, "Yeah, Falazure, why don't you tell them?"
Well, he doesn't like bards.
Oh, that is just mean. We shouldn't give him our
That's
patronage
just
if he
awful.
doesn't like artists. Artists are valued members of our culture and this team.
He's very uncultured. See, I knew that you were going to, agree with me. And she'll just slap Kinraid on her shoulder really, really hard and try to.
I don't know what we're agreeing about, but yeah!
Can I roll and can I possibly look at the two of them and go, okay, that still doesn't explain why we're being sent back, why they would be sent back there to get something that they should have procured.
That's an insight. That's an insight check, and it would be opposed by their. Wait, it's not in 5th edition. It's not bluff, is it? Or is it deception? Be opposed by their deception check.
All right, well, give me a sec here to open up my character sheet.
I also thought bluff for half a second there.
Yeah.
Bluff. Okay, hang on. Come on, roll 20. You can do it.
Belle has said nothing but the truth.
This is true.
It's true. He doesn't like bards. There's truth in that statement.
Oh, I rolled inside of 14.
He doesn't
so
like you two.
I rolled 16.
I mean, I can run it. I can roll it.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it. Roll it.
feel like I was telling the truth, but we'll see.
he doesn't
You
like
were
two
telling the
bucks.
truth, but you were being
Whoa.
you are being a little bit evasive. It seems like so.
Not that it
Damn.
matters.
Okay.
I pushed with Bell.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, Thaldohr, you're not quite sure if Bell is being completely honest with you, but then Falazure is like, "Hey," and you're like, "Of course, Falazure and Bell would have the bad luck and misfortune to go to the only merchant that doesn't like bards in
Yeah, it
all of
makes
Waterdeep.
Makes sense.
It makes perfect sense that would happen.
He
Right.
does have a reputation preceding him, so it kind of makes some sense that, if this guy doesn't like artists, he wouldn't like Falazure.
But wouldn't he be an artist in his own right with building, wonderful weapons?
Or does he just consign them or whatever?
That's fair too, Tack. That's fair. Do
Yeah,
you-
he's the merchant, and he indicated to the in one of the questions that Falazure had was about enchanting items, and he said that they contracted with people, the finest wizards in Waterdeep, to put the enchantments on the items. So it doesn't sound like he actually does the enchanting.
Okay.
Now he may do some of the design, but he's more or less just the knowledgeable sales professional, sales consultant.
So what was the price on this magical crossbow?
The ones that they were looking at were 1,125 each, and those were we have them in the magic item pricing. Those were the Dragon Wing light crossbow. So what it does is it gives you it's a +1 to hit damage, and depending on the type of crossbow you get, basically whatever it's been attuned to when it was made, it deals an extra 1d6 damage of some type of dragon breath. So he had 3 of them. He had one that deals fire, one that deals ice, and one that deals one that dealt lightning. And so you decided that, the lightning isn't really going to do much good against a blue dragon, since they're immune to lightning.
What about fire?
But fire and ice would be effective. And then when he had suggested that because Iymrith is a creature of the desert, ice might, while fire and ice would both hurt her, ice might be more uncomfortable to a creature that lives in a hot climate.
Got you. So I need to be as cold as ice. Got you. So I'm thinking,
Sacrifice.
right, for the things we love.
Yeah.
So I look over at Falazure. Falazure, can you take me to this place? I'll just buy the crossbow outright. I've been working on this filigree. I think it shouldn't take me more than 10 minutes to go in and buy the crossbow and come out and come back.
Well, we could actually kind of skip ahead a bit, and we could do like the filigree on the rod right now, because that's all ready to go.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, whenever we're done with that, if he can take me to Waterdeep, I'll buy the crossbow and then come back.
Perfect.
Works for me.
Well,
Just trust me. You don't know us. He'll poison you.
The other thing was, Gally, is I had put something in chat.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, if we decide to do something like that, and everybody's like, well, we could buy in. I was going to say it could be something where we go over and get the crossbows, and then I can show them what I've been dreaming about.
That's a possibility.
Depending on what you answer is to that stuff.
Yeah.
I would personally like to get to know Zach a bit better before I chucked any money at him.
Well, no, I was telling you about my dream about, having kind of like own place to have a brewery / tavern in blah blah.
Oh, Thaldohr's already down for that. He done told you
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying is that if Galley's cool with the questions I had shot at him, then it could be something where we could just say, okay, where was this shop? We'll go get it, and then I'll show Thaldohr the place I'd been eyeballing.
So you want to roll with me to the store real quick, Tack? I mean, I just got to go get the crossbow and come back.
Oh yeah.
Sure. If you see something catches your eye, just let me know. So I guess
Well, my specialties are hitting things with hammers and sharp blades.
we might have something for you in our party for that.
Oh, I've got plenty of things for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
I've got some stuff. It's just everyday average stuff that I've put runecraft on, and
You're a man of taste. You like hammers. I
Oh, I love
completely
hammers.
agree with this logic. Hammers are the best. There's no question.
well, yeah, especially when you hit something with it and it goes.
Or crunch. I like the crunching.
Well, crunching is good too. I like the splatter.
Well, I'll tell you what. Start you off, and if you see anything nicer in this fancy store with this really awful merchant, have this here thingy here. Warhammer plus Warhammer plus 1. ROC. It's a fancy Warhammer doodad that was given to me by Falazure, right, when I first started. And that carried me through when I needed to hit an enemy who just wasn't taking any damage from what I was hitting him with. This, for some reason, worked. I don't know why. But it did work, and that's what mattered. So take this.
Okay.
That's a nice start.
Nice piece of equipment there you've got.
And it's nothing compared to a carbide here, but it's a good little pick.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh.
So, who all is making the trek to Waterdeep?
If Falazure can do it today.
Who
Uh,
wants to do it?
Sure.
I think we established that this was the following game day after.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, they went. Yeah, they went yesterday. That was a long day. Yesterday in game. By the time they got back, and by the time Falazure and Mulek went to Helm's Hold and came back, you guys were exhausted from the forge, and then everybody turned in. And the following morning, you had the meeting with King Hecaton, where he told you where the lair is, and then later that day, probably around midday, you have come to the castle, and the castle is where, they had that meeting between Hecaton and Felgalos, and
Okay.
now it's the aftermath of that meeting. So,
Gotcha.
because you came to the castle, Falazure has 2 more uses of the helm, and you guys have not yet used the conch today. So, 2 more uses would get you to Waterdeep and back to the castle, or you could go to Waterdeep and use the conch and go back to Maelstrom, and then figure out what you want to do there. I know that some people want to be at Maelstrom to work on in the smithies and things like that. So
Okay.
if people are planning to go back to the forges, then maybe everybody who wants to wind up at the forge would go to Waterdeep, and then all go back to Maelstrom. But that's
That makes
logistics you
sense.
guys can work.
That makes sense. So
Yeah.
Thaldohr sits there and says, "Look, let's all just go to Waterdeep real quick. We'll use the helm, if Falazure permitting. We use the helm, go to Waterdeep, grab some supplies, stretch your legs there, friend raid.
Oh,
And-
don't forget to buy some more meat.
Right, there you go. And then we go right back to Maelstrom and finish hammering out the get a little tongue tied today. Then we just finish hammering out the staff, and there you go. It's a win-win scenario for everybody.
Sounds
yeah.
lovely.
What do you say, Falazure?
That sounds good to me.
Well, giddy up, cowboy from Helm. Let's go to Waterdeep.
And
What's
but
this?
Tax also like, yeah, if we're going to Waterdeep, I want to show you the place that I was last eyeballing.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so before we go to Waterdeep, we'll actually do this in game since I didn't have a chance to take a look at much of anything out of game. So let me see what we have here. Okay, we don't have they don't have anything listed on here. Let me see if there's anything listed on here. There is. Okay. But it would make sense that there would be this kind of map in the castle. So, Tack.
Mm-hmm.
You actually can take everybody to the library in the Flying Castle, and you can start talking to them here. Now, you had mentioned something about your people
Mm-hmm.
were from here. Is this correct?
Are you?
Yes. Your adopted family was from there?
Yeah.
Okay. Mirabar is, of course, a city that is on the kind of at an intersection of the Blackford Road and the Long Road north. It has become, in this particular period of time, it has become the de facto way that you get heavy cargo to Neverwinter. The reason for that is that it wasn't that long ago that Mount Hotenau, over here somewhere in this area, Mount Hotenau exploded, and it damaged part of Neverwinter, and the ejecta from that did some damage to the high road. Now,
Gotcha.
because of the concentration of holy folk at Helm's Hold, Helm's Hold itself was spared from getting that much damage. But of course, they were pressed into service in the immediate aftermath as kind of like a MASH unit to help out the refugees from Neverwinter, and that became kind of a big thing. So Mirabar has its fair share of, there's a lot of traffic in there right now. It's a very busy place. So there's not really probably a whole lot of abandoned or empty.
No, it was in Waterdeep. I was saying it's the building itself is in Waterdeep, but that I came originally from Mirabar, and that's
okay.
yeah. I was actually found adopted in Waterdeep while my parents had actually been living there, and they lived there for some time, but then decided we're going to go back to Mirabar after I got old enough. So as he's come back to Waterdeep over the on and off years, waiting bar or tending bar and working in bars and taverns and stuff, he's kind of stumbled across a couple of places in his travels that he'd been eyeballing as possibly opening as his own.
Okay, I see I see what.
Sorry, I thought it was a little clearer, but I probably wasn't.
Yeah, I saw Mirabar and thought, oh, okay. They're thinking the party's, long-term home base would be in Mirabar. That's fine, if that's what everybody wants to do.
I don't think about a long-term home base. The way this we're skipping between dimensions and all sorts of other things, like having a long-term base isn't really on the cards for our team. I don't think.
It may not be. All right. So in that case, there is a place that you there is a place that you know of that has served as a number of different functions over the years in Waterdeep.
Mhm.
And the most recently known use of this was as a warehouse. But you think, or you remember from your youth, that before it was a warehouse, it was a tavern. And this is a place that is located on a street called Castle Lane.
Okay.
And Castle Lane is in the dock district of Waterdeep. The dock district is the place where it's probably the shabbiest, the most rundown part of Waterdeep. It's the place where obviously all of the sailors come in and come out, and you don't remember exactly why from your youth, but you do remember your parents always kind of especially when they would get close to that Castle Lane, they kind of would shun that area. They wouldn't want to go to that area.
Huh. Okay.
And you're not quite sure why, but you do know that Castle Lane has this place, and the last time you were in Waterdeep, it was abandoned.
Okay. So it was kind of a warehouse-ish looking thing, but possibly had gotten turned into a warehouse from something else.
Right. It had been a bar before. It was a two-story
Gotcha, okay.
bar, and now it's a two-story warehouse. So it had it probably had started off life as a seaside inn with the bar on the ground floor and then probably guest rooms on the upper level. By the time you were aware of it, it really wasn't doing much custom as an inn. It was all tavern. There was the downstairs tavern and the upstairs tavern. And maybe even as a young adult, one of your first jobs was there. And your parents had always said, okay, if you're going to go work there, only work in a day shift and make sure you're always off and come home by dark. They just really didn't like Castle Lane.
Okay.
And you probably would have seen some shady looking folks in there from time to time, but as a bartender, they always paid for their drinks and they were always nice to you and made conversation, and so you never had any problems with people there.
Yeah. Who would have problems with someone like me?
Yeah, but there, you would occasionally come in and there would be like a suspicious big pile pile of darkened sawdust over there on the floor, and maybe some broken chairs or tables
Okay.
from overnight. So, you could put two and two together. There's probably some rough customers that were in there after dark, and possibly some blood was shed, and
Okay.
perhaps some lives were lost in that place. But it's an address you know.
Okay. Well, we can always go check it out.
All right.
Now, is that to the south of? Is that near the south gate, or is that further north?
Let me see. Now, does this particular?
It hasn't been 30 days since I've been to Waterdeep, has it?
No, it has not. It has not, because you guys were there in the Dock District. You know that the Dock District of Waterdeep, I need to get the Dock Ward is...
Thaldohr just has to look at a map and he can tell you everywhere to go in Waterdeep.
Yeah, I've got to find the map in this particular thing. The map is
I gave you a link. It's pretty cool. It's an interactive map of Waterdeep.
I know that one. I'm trying to find the... Oh, here we go.
What's Tack's background, by the way?
What's his background?
Yeah, because some backgrounds allow you to have an easier time with property, and some even give you a hireling. I just wondering which one you chose.
I chose the background of Clan Crafter.
Okay.
AKA, he's a brewer. But he's dabbled in other stuff.
Yeah, artisan tools and whatnot. Gotcha.
I think that, if I'm remembering correctly, I think that the Dock Ward is on the south side of Waterdeep.
Yeah, Dockward is on the south side.
Yeah, okay.
Just wasn't sure if it was north or south of that side.
Well, it's going to be right down there by the water, basically, is where it's going to be. You would have... let's see. I think that's where it is. I may actually have to pull that stupid thing up myself. All right, so...
Well, while this is all going on, let's make up a shopping list and put it into the Roll20 chat so we all know what we're doing.
Okay.
Get out of the way.
All right, so you guys go ahead and discuss that.
Okay, so you gave him a +1
+1 Warhammer.
Warhammer. Okay. Because, yeah, he's got a Warhammer, but it's just a regular old Warhammer.
I mean, you can technically dual wield them if you would like. That is something you can do. If you're not
Well,
using a
and
shield.
by putting runes on, or having put runes on stuff too, it makes it somewhat magical, I think. Okay, so
we've got some potions. Does anyone else need anything from Waterdeep? We've got the Acererak magic item pricing, which I feel like we're probably going to get all that if we can.
let me see here.
I'm just getting the one crossbow. And I see where you... Yeah, I see where you put the
Actually,
price
I'd like to get...
things.
I'd like to... Now that I'm bigger...
Ice, fire, or lightning?
I would like to actually get myself a... some type of a shield.
Yes, good idea.
Because all he's wearing right now is chainmail, so...
Yeah, we need to get you a shield.
Okay.
A plus... Like, I think we found +2 or 3 shields.
Mulek
What?
would know.
Out of the cost.
Plus what shield?
+2 or 3.
No,
Any of those?
Falazure bought those. He gave Bill a hand-me-down. Hit one of his hand-me-downs shields.
No, I mean, like, we have found them in the game, so we know what the price is, right?
I know. I don't know if we found him or not. I thought I bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that a +3 armor is very rare, so I believe that the most you can buy is a +2.
Correct.
Now, if you
fine.
killed somebody and they were wearing +3, then you might have gotten +3 that way. But +2 would have been the.
What's the price of lightning resistance potions?
That would be good.
Because I'm buying 2 of them.
A potion of lightning resistance. All right, let me.
I'm trying to do some of the math for you at the moment, Gary. Trying to keep it easy when later on.
Yep.
All right, all down in the Roll20 chat.
Potion of resistance. Yes. Okay. And that is an uncommon. Yeah, okay. You can probably do a search. Now, if you guys are looking for pricing, before you ask for a price, go into that magic item pricing channel and.
I looked.
Okay, resistance. Okay.
+2 is 1.2 million.
Don't worry about it.
Oh no, 1.2 million. No, that would not be.
1,200. I see it. Yeah, 1,200.
Yes.
2,500.
Yeah.
Okay.
1,200 sounds more like it.
I'm buying 2 superior healing potions. I had to go to our Sunday game to find a price for it, but they're 1,500 a piece.
Okay.
Jeez.
As far as I know.
Let's see.
Just for the sake of doing all this very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely a good idea.
Because we got a dragon to stock.
Yes, we do.
And we got armor to get for you.
Yes, we do. Speaking of armor, chainmail is what attack is wearing. What can tack wear?
Well,
Any
if
armor,
I
'cause he's a fighter, right?
Yes, my base class is fighter.
If I get this armor tonight, I would have a +2. I'm sorry, I would have +1 splint mail to give tack.
That would be
Splint
great.
mail?
Splint +1.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that potion of resistance is let's say potion of resistance is 100 gold pieces.
All right, done.
I think we should get some of those. Maybe 2 each.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll grab 2 of those.
Yep. Just buy what you guys need.
Okay.
Get some healing potions. I recommend it. Don't count on me to heal you.
Superior would be a waste for me though, because what does superior do?
This is 8d4 + 8. It's not as much as you think.
Jeez.
Yeah, its maximum is 40 hit points. Maximum healing is 40 hit points.
On a superior?
Yep.
Jeez.
The 1,500 gold is 150 PP, right?
Yes.
Yes, 150 platinum. Then obviously for a potion of resistance, you do that. You you just apply whichever resistance you want on the ones that you buy. So cold or lightning or whatever.
You said lightning is 100?
Mm-hmm.
Every potion of resistance is 100. And the types you can get just there's 10 types: acid, cold, fire, force, lightning, necrotic, poison, psychic, radiant, and thunder are the types of potions.
Do we have any
All
other
right.
material components necessary for Revivify and some of the other? I think some of us have Resurrect, or was it you, Ken, who has Revive?
Somebody had gotten some diamonds at some point. Now, whether you guys have used them for anything or not.
Yeah, I have them.
but- Yep.
Do you need any more diamonds?
I have.
I don't. My character doesn't need them because of Warrior of the Gods, but everyone else, unfortunately, will.
I don't know why they're not in my inventory. I know I bought them. We'd have to go back and check the notes, but I'm pretty sure I bought like 3 of them.
I think it's diamonds worth 200 gold, isn't it? So buy 3 sets, 600 GP.
I don't know. I'll have to check in a second.
Yeah, don't worry about it. 600 GP worth of diamonds. I'll just add that to the list, so we got some backup. I mean, you can always have more.
Yep. Right. So, as you guys are bumping around Waterdeep, everybody go ahead and wait. Let me see.
So we put together our list and we went.
Yep.
Because all of a sudden we
Yeah.
were like, "Hi, here we are." What?
That's all we
Yeah.
went to back to Waterdeep in the first place, was just to get him bow and things, and then these potions.
Okay. So everybody except Bell
Ah,
can make me perception check.
you got it, boss.
Hey. Everybody but who? Bell and who?
But-
Only Bell.
Oh,
Okay. Starting
perception
strong.
checks.
28.
There you go.
26.
What's a perception?
Yeah. Krenraid notices the
Booger
fact
in his
that
nose.
well, no, he notices the fact that these humans who built Waterdeep, they are awful because the cobblestones on the street are so uneven.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's moss everywhere. They don't clean it. What is with this? This is awful.
Everybody else notices that as you are going from the shop where you buy the gems to the shop where you buy the potions to the shop where whoever's going to buy the crossbows that's not named Falazure and Bell goes in to buy the crossbows. As you go about these, you realize that there are a group of people that always seem to be about half a block behind you. And you notice they are conspicuous by the fact that every time you notice them, they're wearing something slightly different. So it's like they think that if they basically change their outfits, you won't notice them. But the fact that they are changing their outfits makes it kind of suspicious that you notice. And they always seem to be just, kind of a half a block behind you, sort of.
Do I notice
Watching
how
it.
many people it is?
Yes, you notice that it is a total of 5. And they appear to be all roughly human size. Some of them are a little, a bit taller. Some of them are a bit skinnier. Some of them are a bit bulkier. But they all seem to be kind of human-ish. You would guess humans or possibly half-elves. There might be one of them with kind of the bulk that looks like they might be a 1/4 orc or something, like a half orc that presents very much as human, but may have a tiny bit of orcish features.
I kind of lean over to Thaldohr just slightly as we're walking and go, is it me or do I feel like we're being followed, maybe to be jumped? I don't know. You notice these guys back here? And I kind of hide my thumb as I'm kind of jerking it in that direction.
I look over my shoulder, just smiling, like, yeah, I've noticed them probably past 5 or 6 alleys following us. It ain't nothing. Do I notice any distinguishing features besides? I mean, I notice they keep changing clothes, but like, is there anything that Thaldohr with his background would notice about these people?
Thaldohr with a 28. Oh, yes. You do notice something about them. You notice that at least one of them, he tries to cover it, but every now and then his sleeve will slide up, and you can see it on the inside of his upper arm. He has a tattoo that marks him as a member of the Zhentarim.
Oh, great. So I'm looking around, not frantically, but with a calm head, and I just tell Tack, keep your ear to the ground. Not literally, just listen.
Tack kind of looks at you like, what, do you think I'm bad?
No, but I look over at Kryn, and he's probably staring at the freaking cobbles.
I kind of follow your gaze and look at Krenraid and then look back at Thaldohr with one of those.
Right. So what I'm looking for is, I know when at the last time I was here, I know they sneaked through like the sewers in a way, not the Zhentarim, but also the Thieves Guild. Can I see any markers on the walls that would notify me of a Thieves Guild like connection somewhere in like the back alley we're near or something?
Yeah. Let's see. You would notice that there is that bar right up the street over there. Let's see that.
Is it the same bar we were at last time we were here?
No, it's a different, because you're in a slightly different district. You were down in Dock District. You're now more in the merchant quarter. And you notice the whoever runs this likes alliteration. It's the Sour Flower Tavern. So the Sour Flower Tavern.
Sorry, I missed something. Were you talking about the tavern I was looking at or something else?
No.
Sorry. Okay.
That needs to go there. I'm going to get rid of it there. I'm going to put it in the general because it belongs there instead. Sour Flower Tavern. You walk in there, and you look around, and you look over. You see a couple of people at the bar, and you see like a little. Just the way that they've hung one of the mugs over there kind of tells you it's probably the guy on the left that is the Thieves Guild connection that's behind the bar.
Thaldohr walks up and Thieves Can't. Says, need help. 5 Zhentarim following.
And he gives you a look, and he says, back in Thieves Can't, he says, all right, take a table in the back. We'll keep our eyes out. And he introduces himself as Vim Shudrig.
Thank you, Vim.
Okay.
Is this anybody I would recognize?
I place a platinum piece on the counter for his services.
Okay.
And I've already deducted all the other money I spent for everything else. So.
All right. So you guys go and take the table that Vim points you to, and you sit down there. And after a bit, you keeping an eye on the door. You go ahead and you see that one of those people that you noticed that was following you walks past in the street, and that person makes a very conspicuous job of not looking into the tavern, but they walk by so that you can see them clearly, but you don't see the other 4. You just see that one go by.
There's
And
still one waiting on us.
Yeah. And to answer your question, Tack, make me an intelligence check. No. This is not a person that you have met before. Vim is not a person that you know.
Sounds good.
Guess we're going to hang out.
The cobblestone in this place is so uneven. I feel like I was going to fall over just walking on it.
It's all right, Kryn. It's all right. Here, it's all right. Here, here's you a meat and here's some food. I set him down at the table. I have a mug of ale and some food set out for Kryn.
Oh, thank y'all very much. I'll have to get the next
Well,
round
and
then.
being here, I have to order a drink of their finest.
Okay. You notice that there are several servers, most of them serving maids, that are waiting on the tables. But when your drinks are ready, Vim says something to the other person behind the bar, and he brings them over himself. He, throws a little bartender's towel across his shoulder, and he brings your mugs over to you, and he then just sort of sits down at the table with you. And then he makes some polite conversation, Does anybody else except for Thaldohr speak Thieves' Cant?
No.
Okay.
No, they're speaking gibberish.
All right. So he makes some pleasant small talk, and it sounds like he's telling you a little bit about the bill of fare. And most of you probably think he's there trying to sell you on having a meal here. But Thaldohr, what you hear through Thieves' Cant that yes, he noticed a Zhentarim agent passing in the street. That guy is someone Vim doesn't know what his name is, but knows that he has been in some involved in some of the trouble that has started to be stirred up between the Zhentarim and the Xanathar Guild. You know, there's always been some bad blood between the Zhentarim and the Xanathar Guild, and this guy is kind of like a street level recruiter, if you will, that recruits people who might have a beef with the Xanathar Guild, or who have run afoul of the Xanathar Guild.
Interesting. So something tells me they're trying to pick us up to help. We ain't got time for this. And I look over at Tack, and I look over at Kryn and the rest of the group. I'm like, apparently either A, they were going to try to jump us, or B, they were going to try to recruit us. We ain't got time for this crap. We got bigger things on the brain.
Yeah, it's very big, actually. I can't remember exactly how big, but at least the size of 2 houses.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I guess at this point, then I'll just wait to show you that place till later.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I just don't. I don't want us to get too much in the weeds on this. Let's go handle this. This dragon.
Where is this place at? Just tell me where it's at, and I have an idea.
He kind of scratches his head for a second, then goes, "Oh yes, that's right. It is on Castle Lane."
Okay, I asked the barkeep.
It's pretty much been made into a warehouse at this point.
Got you. I asked the barkeep in Thieves' Cant, know anything about this place on Warehouse Castle Lane?
And he looks back at you, and there's a little slow smile, and he says, "Do I want to know what you're up to?"
Nothing nefarious, and I'm saying all this in Thieves' Cant, but I like to put a deposit down in the building. I think my friend here wants to be a connoisseur and open his own little tavern.
Well, I'm not the one you should be talking to. Perhaps you should go to talk to that recruiter for the Zhentarim, because
it's in their district, isn't it?
Rumor has it that they have a hideout on Castle Lane that looks for all the world like an abandoned warehouse.
Oh, got you. Yeah, Tack, we might have to put our heels in that another day.
Why?
Apparently it's in a bad neighborhood, which I should have known that. I feel dumb.
Well, I mean, I used to tend bar there as a youngin'.
Apparently it's not a bar anymore. You know it's a warehouse. You told me that. But apparently it's in a warehouse for a bad group of people.
Ugh.
So we'll have to clear
Never
house.
fails.
Right. But, I mean, if we cleared house, it'd probably be a great thing. But we don't have the time to clear house. That sounds like a plan. Later, after we tackle the big one, why don't we settle down for a bit and we'll start you up a tavern? My treat. I'll help you. I'll
Well,
invest.
The only way I'd want to do it is if you guys were involved and could use the space for your own use too.
That is all fair. I think that'd be a wonderful idea. But first, I think we should tackle this big thing in the room that we have to tangle with. That's going to be. We need to get back to Maelstrom. Are we done getting everything we need in Waterdeep
Yeah.
today?
I think you guys have made all of your stops for shopping.
Yep. I mean, make sure you got any potions that you want to buy, guys. Take that away. Do that now. Get out of the way.
Out of character, did you guys mark off the gold and add the items to your inventory or everything?
I
Or
did.
You wanted?
I
I have
did,
those.
but I just want to make sure how much
Okay.
how much are you charging for superior healing potions?
Superior healing.
Because in the GM, it goes anywhere from 500 to 5,000 gold pieces.
Yeah,
How common they are, etc. The rare items. So.
Well, yeah, and then also once I figure out the rate, if it's an expendable like a potion, it's half of the normal rate because a consumable is half the price of a permanent magic item. So let me see if I've priced that already. I think we did.
Did in the Sunday game, but I didn't know if the prices were the same.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
For
So they are-
my sanity, my 5e prices are the same.
All right, it's 1,500 gold then.
Yeah.
Piece. Yikes. All right, well, I already knocked them off, so.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and the reason they are that steep is because yes, it is. If you think about it, for high level characters, it's only a maximum of 40 healing, but it's the highest healing that you can get in the form of a potion. So that makes it a really
It would be
useful.
Supreme, but yeah.
Yeah, it makes it
what you most commonly use.
Supreme would be the rarest. I mean, the most.
Oh,
But
yeah.
We're
But that's
not
very
in that
rare,
bracket
isn't it?
yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you typically use superior even at high levels anyway because of the cost of it.
Right.
All right. So,
Nice.
you guys are all here now. Vim will say one other thing to you. He will say, "Well, tell your friend next time you all are in Waterdeep that you should go up to the north side of the city and check out a place called Troll Skull Alley. There's a manor house up there that is abandoned and supposedly haunted, but rumor says that's connected to Volo, and that
that guy. Great.
Volo might be interested in selling it. So next time you're here, you should go check that place out, and if it looks like something of interest, then go talk to Volo. You can find him at the Yawning Portal.
Oh, I know
every
where I
day.
can find Volo. Very
Yeah.
much. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that's it. And then he says, "You guys need a back way out of here or a room to lay low for a bit?"
Oh, some of this me to take away, and ideally some of the bacon bits. And yeah, please, thank you.
You're not eating all the bacon again, Grenade. Last time it made you sick.
No, but it was tasty though.
I know, but we don't need you sick. Remember, we got to go back to the forges.
Fine. You make a good point. Well, I can't afford an empty stomach, so I will take that steak.
That's fine.
All right. So he will do that, and he will tell you in Thieves' Cant that there is a small upstairs dining room, and he'll lead you to the kind of the hidden stairwell and take you up to the dining room, and they'll bring you your food and everything up there. And then I suppose, as long as you're finished with your shopping, when you finish your dinner, if you want to, you, Thaldohr, could tell Vim, and you guys could just teleport from there.
One
Yeah.
thing
Wanted to
very
do that.
quickly. Do we know, or well, we haven't really bought this before, but I do think it'd be something incredibly useful for TAC. A cloak of protection. Do you have any feelings about the pricing on that before we pop off?
Not gonna steal mine, that's for sure.
It's a very common magic item, very useful for martial classes because plus
Oh,
one AC,
whoops.
plus one saves.
So
That's-
it's just like oops,
So one
never mind.
most uncommon item.
I'll go back on mute.
I bet it's in our Sunday game. Let me look. It's possible.
I think we've priced it as well.
I got one at the start when I first joined. It has the hill crest, crest, and that's how I role played it out. I don't know if we actually bought one. We probably did.
Oh, cloak of what?
Cloak of
Cloak of protection.
I don't want to bog us down, but that's something that could be very useful for TAC because of the extra AC and saving throws.
I want to say
Yeah.
it's like 1,500 gold, but I'm not 100% sure. I know a cloak of displacement's like 2,500, and that's even better.
If we're going just purely by the DMG, it's 101 to 500 gold.
Yeah,
depends on the
which it'll be in that range.
We're looking in Waterdeep, so I guess it's entirely up to you, really, Gally, how much you want to charge for it. If it even exists, it may not.
Cloak of protection. It doesn't look like I've priced that before, so let me go. Yeah, let's see. We'll do. I'm gonna edit to this cloak of protection.
Is Belle attuned out, or does Belle have an attunement slot?
Yeah, she's tuned out and she has additional things just she's carrying on to.
Grand. But let us know if you think of anything.
I'm gonna say cloak of protection is 300 gold.
Done. I'll pay for that. So if you could add that to your thingy, as TAC is carrying that, it does require attunement.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll just say like, oh, I got this to wrap the shield in, but now that I look at it, it's actually pretty nice.
That would be grenade.
He said it would cost a lot. With your real fancy kind of wrapping paper. I was like, yeah, it actually feels really nice.
Oh, thank you.
It's to thank you for all the help you put at the forge. You've sped up the whole process, and now we're ready to crush some fire giants in a swimming competition.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Tack pulls out a flask of some of his parents' famous brandy and holds it out for Crenraid. Here you go. Have some.
Ooh, I love a bit of a sharing session. Sounds good to me.
Well, let's take a blow of that conch and let's get back to Maelstrom so we can get this stuff cooking.
All right.
Conrad, don't
So-
forget your food.
I'm already eating it.
Yep. So you guys finish your dinner. You get
And raid a bucket
He'll-
of wings and steak.
he'll bring you a small 2-gallon barrel of mead, and it's like one of those miniature casks, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And he will, for your patronage, he will only charge you 10 gold for that, because you guys have.
free platinum at him. I'm right out the door. 'Cause
Oh.
I stole the steak.
And this
Okay.
this is a sample of his best stuff.
Well, I think Crenraid specifically asked for mead.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
okay.
I'll look after
and
whatever I was
that was mead to go. That was
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, you had a glass or two of their best stuff, and you were looking for spirits or ale or whatever. Somebody is breathing into their microphone. So the you were you asking for spirits or ale or what when you wanted their best? Yeah. So their best. Yeah, their best is it's good. It's not the best spirits you've had. Certainly doesn't compare with your father's.
Mom and pop.
Yeah, with your father's and your mother's, distilled spirits. But it's good. It's tasty.
Okay. I just kind of sample it and smack my lips and not bad, not bad. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Oh,
Drops the
quite welcome.
money for it on the table.
All right. And then when your meal is over, you guys use the conch and return to Maelstrom, and you head to the smithy. All right, and so we're now back here.
Yay.
Well, steak partly in hand, keg of me in the other. Now I've got the snacks and I've got the drinks, so I am ready to go for a good old forging session. I'm running towards the forge. I'm gonna get going.
Okay, and the fire giants are there. And the fire giants are starting to work on the various parts of the armor that you have them working on, and you come in and they go,
"Whoa, ho, ho, ho. Well, you see, we're already getting started here.
Jesus!
Well, I don't know. I heard from some of the storm giants that you had done some work already on the scepter, so it's only fair that we do some work while you're away."
It was just the prep work, laying the foundations. You can't have some sordid work slapping on something else, can you?
No, but... well...
and one of them comes over and says,
"May I see what you've done so far? I'm curious about the craftsmanship that's going into this. Or should it be a surprise? We show each other when we're done."
Oh, that's a tough one. They both sound really fun. I think we should compare as we go, because I kind of want to watch you guys and learn from you, and then maybe you can learn some of the more fiddly stuff.
Oh, very well, very well.
so he calls over his buddies, and these four these four fire giants come around, and they're sort of standing around this forge, and you're up on the anvil showing them this thing. And of course, to them, it's this, it's very small and delicate. And they go,
"Oh, that detail work is exquisite. It's so, oh yes, you see how that,"
and they, and they suddenly, they just start nerding out over Krenraid's blacksmithing, and
it's just the materials right now, but we've got this gold spindle here. We're going to wrap it around and put it along this. I'll show you these really fancy drawings that my friend Thaldohr made. He's going to do all the fingery work because he's got really thin fingers, right? It's perfect for that kind of work. It's going to look so good, right? We're going to use his gold shavers, nutting out as well.
Oh my goodness, well, that's great.
And then they look at Falazure and they say,
"Hope you'll be ready tomorrow morning, because we will have some preliminary pieces for you to fit and check the sizing. Make sure that it's that the sizing is going correctly.
All right, sounds good to me.
Very well.
And so the next few days are spent in the forge, working on the various projects. The fire giants come and check on your progress. You go and check on their progress. I'm going to have you make... let's see. It's Krenraid that's actively working on this project. Tack and Thaldohr, you're helping with some of the
filigree, the special
filigree, everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a group check.
Yep.
For you. I would like to have all three of you make some. Those of you that have, do you both have Smith tools? Both Tack and
Yes.
Krenraid? Okay. Go ahead and make a check with your Smith tools. Let's say it'll be a strength check because you're doing a lot of hammering work, and you can add your proficiency to that for the use of your Smith tools. And then for you, Thaldohr, go ahead and make me a dex check for the fine, delicate work that you're doing. Oh, wow.
Ow.
That's how you start.
18.
Okay, all right. Well,
Oh wait, I don't get proficiency. Just straight dex. That's a straight dex roll.
yeah, that's a straight dex roll.
What's the
'cause you're-
7 for? Sorry.
You don't have the
No, I don't have smithy tools. No.
You don't have the Smith tools, right? Okay, so yeah, you as a group check, that's successful. There was a number I was looking at to see everything, and 2 out of the 3 of you rocketed past that number. So that's good. Tack, you're doing some of the basic work, and Krenraid is doing some of the finer finishing work, which kind of makes sense because you're used to brewing more than smithing. Smithing is kind of, you're good at doing like the beginning work and getting the stuff ready for the master smiths to work on. And Falazure, you find that the fire giants, they're like dead on with these specifications. The armor fits. It feels very comfortable in the way it fits. It is snug, so that you're not bumping around in there a lot, but it has a little bit of room just in the places you want it to have a little bit of room, so that you have a full range of motion. And when they go to test the fit of these, they have an incredibly when they're doing very delicate work, they have an incredibly gentle touch as they're putting the armor on, and then they'll move it a little bit, and they'll do that thing where they'll put it in one position and say, okay, tell us, does it feel better if it's this way? And then they'll twist it a little bit and say, or is it better this way? And you kind of give them your feedback, and they make a couple of little adjustments here and there, but it's coming along very nicely, and these guys are definitely being very quick about the work. Krenraid, you're very surprised that with only 4 of them, how fast this armor is coming together.
I'm also not going to lie. I thought they'd be taking a lot more time because it's way smaller than they're used to working in. Like, look at them. They're freaking massive. And they're making this armor for you. And no offense, you're a decent-sized human, but in comparison to what those guys work on, wow, they are making that quick.
Well, the funny thing is that you catch from time to time when they are working on when they're working over the anvil, you catch them with what looks like almost a jeweler's eyepiece. A couple of them have jeweler's eyepieces, and they kind of pass them around. So all 4 of them at one time or another are using those when they're working on some of like the joints or the rivets or things like that on this armor. So they're, for them, they've got the right tools to do delicate work. What would be delicate work for them? Whereas somebody who is a dwarf or a human would need it for that. They would need it for something much smaller.
I've got my monocle on as well, but it's the lens is completely broken. It's just like snapped off it, so it's just a monocle frame with nothing else on it because I feel like it makes me smarter.
Yeah, Mulek would probably be a little bit jealous of some of these because one of the jeweler's eyepieces, it actually has like a big leather strap that can go all the way around the guy's head, and then when he puts it down over his eye, it's got like 3 or 4 different lenses, and he can sort of twist it to get exactly the right lens that he wants to be working on. So it's kind of like he kind of reminds you a bit of a known jeweler, except he's this big fire giant, with this massive smith's hammer, and he's
that may as well be a telescope to me.
Yeah, exactly. It would be a telescope to most of you. So, all right. Then you get.
The first few days I'm already working on the rod, making it so we've got the pummel of the 3 different metallic colors, and then we probably do the etching work so that we can allow Thaldohr to practice with his new weapon. So we'll probably focus on that first. So pummel bit, actual mithril rod itself, which we will craft into basically intrinsical cylinders, so it can it has more buckle to it. It can buckle, but it won't break. And then we will get to work on the rest, which will be of the next few days, which will be the claws, the filigree, and the nails. As well as settling in the pearl, and that will be yours done. I think we decided of like 4 or 5 days. That's how much it would take for the team to put together to make the scepter. And the finals obviously going to take 10, so we can spend a lot of time observing what they're doing.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, we'll say that you guys get to the to about the last day of your work, and the fire giants have gotten to a point where they need to give the armor a chance to cool from its first tempering. And so they spend a couple of hours on that day over looking at the fine detail work, and while you're working, they're sort of standing around and they're all kind of holding their breath. And several of them, they're passing around those eyepieces, and they're watching Thaldohr with those eyepieces as he does that really delicate work. And you get this thing like where Thaldohr, you kind of feel like you're sitting at the 18th hole on the last day of the Masters, going for the putt that's going to win, because of the way they're talking. They're saying, "Look at how carefully he's making these little lines in that Very fine gold. Oh, that's so exquisite. Oh, look. Do you see? Yes, just right there. Just how it's dribbling. Yes, how he's drawing that line of gold. Oh, that's just amazing.
I look over my shoulder, and in giant, I say, "Want to come watch closer?"
and they, oh. And one of them says, "May I?" And yeah, he gives you this. His eyes go real wide. May I?
Not so close that you breathe on it though.
Yeah, don't breathe on me.
And
Might be a little hot.
he says, "Oh, I'll be very careful." And a couple of the other ones, they kind of, give this little clap and they pat him on the back, like, oh, they're kind of excited. It's almost like they're 15-year-old girls that are going to a quinceañera or something, and they're, he just leans over and he's got that eyepiece on, it's all strapped to his head, and he's just looking down very carefully at that. And when you make a particularly good little curve or arc, he's like, oh, and he just lets out this quiet little sigh of appreciation and of what you're doing. And that's where we will go ahead and have our break. When we come back, we're going to check in with people who are not doing forging, find out what they are doing, and we might, James said he might be able to join us around the midway point. So we will see if he is here at that point. All right. Viewers, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. We are going to go ahead and go back to our main slate. I am going to bring the music back up, and I will there we go. And I will put the timer on. We're going to take a break for about 10 minutes. We will be back for the second half of our session. And we will continue with this Stalking of Iymrith. All right. I'm going to mute, and you guys, of course, know you can hang out here on the channel with the stream, or you can go to the off-stream chat. I'll be back.
Got me a cup of tea.
How's everybody doing?
Yes.
Doing good, Ivy. Glad you can make it tonight.
I'm tired, but I'm still here. But thank you. I'm glad to be here. How are you doing? I know that there was a rough patch that was happening with you not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm doing much better. I'm taking meds. They got me on to help with that. Then I'm getting physical therapy twice a week. And just waiting for work to get off their butt and figure something out.
I believe in you.
It's not me anymore. I'm worried about it. I've got 8 days for them to make up their mind.
I don't care. I still believe in you.
Thanks.
But yeah, I know work can be very exhausting, especially when you're trying to get answers out of them or them to do something. What?
Hey, Ivy, did I tell you that I was telling my girlfriend about our D&D game.
You probably haven't told me because it's the only second time that I heard you mention your girlfriend. The other one was through text.
Hey, do you guys want to hear a little funny story? Jump up real quick.
Sure.
Or jump down or something.
Hey, James. Hey, Paul.
Aloha.
Yeah, well, let's just keep your fingers crossed for some good news this week.
Yes. I kind of wanted to say what the story can say is that they better get the fucking act
Yeah, they should. Or bad news for them.
Fingers are crossed.
Thank you. I'm glad Mulek can join us, or James.
Me too. Tavern.
There's Ivy. There's Ken.
See, I told you it was gonna take too much longer.
Yep. Hey, James. Oh, looks like he's still on mute. So he must have.
We're getting ready.
Popped in, popped out.
Yep. He, he mentioned that was picking up a relative from the airport. Oh, booey. I'm gonna go back on mute because I gotta run get one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought people died.
Excuse me.
Excused.
So how's the puppy?
The puppy is getting large already.
Well, yeah.
Like he is as thick as me now.
You
and
didn't
it's-
adopt a baby chihuahua. You adopted that.
I'll send update photos in a moment.
Oh, right. Okay, made it back just in time. Okay, so let us move us back over to the slate. And we will we'll go ahead and bring us back to the castle. Alright.
But say we're in Maelstrom, ain't we?
Yeah, we're back to Maelstrom. Okay. Alright, so you guys are back in Maelstrom, and while the folks have been working at the forge, what has everybody else been doing? I guess that would mainly be Bell and perhaps Falazure when he wasn't getting fitted. So what would you guys have been doing?
Cat nap.
Okay, all right. And then when James gets back in off of mute, we'll find out what Mulek has been up to. All right, so as the days wind down, another thing that happens about the time that you get done Krenraid with the scepter is that you guys get a message from the castle. Count Felon uses his conch to come to Maelstrom and informs you that that Felgalos has received the the agreement of all the dragons. And about the same time, you guys have noticed, in addition to the fire giants working on that project, you've noticed there's a frost giant Jarl. There is there's a stone giant count, and there is a so we got fire. Wait, who all did we have over here? We gotta go back and look and see who was there. We've got the stone giant, the frost giant. Well, your cloud giant is there. Oh, okay, that's it, because Count Thulin is the cloud giant. The king is the storm giant, and then you've got the stone and the frost. So you've got the 5 giants. They are all in accord and all ready to meet and talk to the dragons, and they are ready to sign the accord as soon as you guys can get your guarantors there. Basically, Mordenkainen and any people that he's going to bring with him. So let me see. James, are you back yet? I'm gonna. All right. Well. All right. Well, we'll just say that he sends to Mordenkainen, and Mordenkainen replies that he's got a couple of friends that will come with him to help with this treaty, and so you guys wind up getting everyone up to the castle that you need to get up to the castle. And so the dignitaries that you have up there are Jarl Helgi from the Frost Giants, and then you have Lord Rathos from the Fire Giants. You have King Hecaton from the Storm Giants, Count Thulin from the Cloud Giants, and then you have Duke next door from the Stone Giants. And in addition to them, there is Zillus, who is the Copper Dragon. Then there is Seldrith, who is the Moonstone Dragon. And then there's Paladrith, who is the other Bronze Dragon. And, you know, as usual, you guys are sitting around waiting on Mordenkainen. Because, of course, Mordenkainen has to be fashionably late to everything.
Of course. Thaldohr's just in there marking scratches on an extra piece of paper because he wrote this very beautiful accord. I'm just there just counting down the minutes. How late Mordenkainen is. Asshole number 1, asshole number 2, asshole number 3. Just
At
thinking,
the
you
pub
know,
we were just at, right, they said a wizard arrives exactly when he means to. I don't know what that means.
it means he arrives because he is an asshole number 4, asshole number 5. Just, you know.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. And so oops. All right. And then let's see.
Did Mordenkainen tell you when he was going to get here, Mulek?
No. Does he ever tell us when he's going to arrive?
No. As Mulek's probably sitting next to me. Asshole number 6. Asshole number 7. Now we're just getting impatient.
And so
Only a day, Mulek.
as this goes on, eventually walking in from the back, you hear this echoing voice. Well, confound it! At least they could have had somebody out in the courtyard to greet us. What is going on? Oh, look, everybody's in here. And
Old man.
so Mordenkainen walks in, and he's got 2 people with him. One of these people you have met before, which is Adeluk. The other person you have not met before, and that is another member of the fabled Circle of 8, the wizard Leomund. And they come over here, and they all get into the up at the head of the party, as it were. And Mordenkainen says, "There you are, Mulek. That's very rude that nobody was out in the courtyard to meet us. I don't know what you're thinking. And we could have landed on the wrong castle."
It was a test.
Thaldohr's trying not to laugh under
Pack
breath.
sitting there next to Thaldohr kind of leans over and goes, "Who is this again?"
Asshole number 3, asshole number 4.
And Mordenkainen looks at Mulek and says, "I have experiments that were 100 years old when your great grandfather was born. I don't need any smart business from you, Sonny."
I didn't want to insult your intelligence by telling you exactly where we were at. I assumed, wrongly, that was beyond your capability.
And Leomund, he just sort of kind of knuckles his mustaches, and he gives you kind of a smirk, and you can tell that he's chuckling. Somebody is, is talking sass to Mordenkainen. He says, "Yep, Mort, I told you, treat people nicer. They're not going to, they're not always going to be as friendly as you want. You can only impress people with puffs of smoke and flashes of light so often." And Mordenkainen says, "Well, these kids are just, these days, they're just so impatient. They want everything on their schedule. They've got to learn to wait, like we did, for beakers to boil and reagents to heat up. And yes, but you didn't call us here for that." Oh, and he turns and he looks. He says, "Yes, Count Thalin, Lord Felgalos. You all know me. I am Mordenkainen, and these are 2 of my associates, Adeluk and Leomund. And we are here on a matter of some urgency for you all to deal with this deal with this treaty. King Hekaton, you should come over here too. And the king kind of looks at the other giants, and the giants just kind of are looking at him like, "You gonna let this guy talk to you that way?" And King Hekaton says, "The proper term is Your Majesty, and yes, I will." And then Mordenkainen says, "Very well, Your Majesty. Please join us up here at the front of the room." And King Hekaton looks over at you all and just sort of shakes his head. Like, I don't know why I put up with this guy. And he moves over here. And Mordenkainen says, "All right, we have between us, we understand that you all need the Geas cast to ensure that everyone will abide by the agreement on the shares of the treasure. Is that correct? And that there will be, let's see, do we have the document ready?"
Yes, I do, Mordenkainen. And I walk over and I hand it to him, like, "Here you go. Everything that has been agreed upon is written here in this contract."
He looks at it, and Adaluk and Leomund come around, and as he goes, Leomund looks up and looks at you, Thaldohr, and says, "Fine work here. Very
Had a little
well."
bit of practice.
And Adaluk says, yes. Everything seems in order. And then Adaluk turns and says, "Your Majesty, King Hekaton, I take it you are speaking for the giants. If you had a chance to review the contract, is everything, or you review the agreement, is everything satisfactory to you?" And he says, "Yes, I have reviewed it, and Thaldohr has done a fine job. We, myself and all of my giant lords, we agreed to the terms." And he says, "Good." And then Leomund turns to Falazure, says, "And I believe you're speaking for the dragons, as the resident dragon of this castle. Do all the dragons agree?" And Falazure says, "Yes, we all agree." "Very well." Then he says, "Okay, yes, you all are in close enough proximity," and they begin unrolling scrolls, and they go to each person in the room, with the exception of the Shield Guardian and with the exception of the children. They go to the giants, to the dragons, and to each member of the party, and they touch you with one hand. They touch the contract or the agreement with the other hand, and they say some words, and you sort of feel a little bit of magic settling over you. It's not uncomfortable, but you kind of feel it almost like a second magical skin that wraps around you and stretches kind of tight, and then just sort of seeps into you. And they say, per the language in the contract, you are bound to the terms of this agreement for the purpose of slaying Iymrith and for dealing with any reprisals from her kin. And each of you is entitled each of the entities, meaning each individual giant, each individual dragon, and the party as a whole, the party of adventurers as a whole. Each of you is entitled to 1/10 of the share of treasure. We understand that there is the supplemental agreement that as long as the Kolnor scepter is returned to King Hecaton, he will offer the rest of his share to the adventurers.
Yes, that is in there.
Yes. Okay. Well, very good. And then Mordenkainen says, "Well, our work here is almost done, but Your Majesty and Lord Felgalos, we need to borrow the adventurers for a few moments. May we go somewhere and have a conversation with them?" And they say, "Yes, by all means." And so, as Mordenkainen, Adaluk, and Leomund begin to walk out of here, yes.
Are we supposed to be on the castle picture?
Oh, phooey.
It's okay.
You are-
I was going with theater of the mind for a little bit.
But he keeps saying they go over here. They do that over there. And I was like, where?
Yes. Okay. Sorry about that.
I'm
Yes.
okay. Thank you.
Theater of the Mind was where I was at, so it was fine.
Yep. So, whoops. Let me grab these guys again. All right. So they will lead you out here and over to this conference room. So
Okay.
you guys can move your tokens over there. And nope. All right.
They're still in this barrel.
Okay. And then let's see. We've got that, and we've got that. All right. So, when they get you all in there, they will say, or actually, Mordenkainen will get kind of a somber expression on his face for once. And he turns over to Adaluk and he nods. And you realize, perhaps for the first time, that Adaluk has had underneath his robes, he's had some bandages on his right arm that start at his wrist and go up towards his forearm. And so he reaches and he pulls the sleeve of his cloak up, and he begins unwinding the bandages as Mordenkainen speaks and says, "Well, we have some news for you. It's news we didn't necessarily expect to happen. It's news that we had definitely hoped would not happen. But it's news that concerns us and now very gravely concerns you and the all of those giants and dragons over there in the other room." And Adaluk takes the bandage off, and you can see that on his arm he has some lesions, some sores, and it looks like it looks for all the world like just above his wrist on his arm there is some necrotic damage that is appearing on his skin. And Adaluk says, well, Tensor and Mordenkainen and myself all had a misfortune at one point in our careers to actually be killed in the Forgotten Realms, or in Toril. And we have all noticed, I on my arm, Mordenkainen on his leg, and unfortunately for Tensor, it's on his neck. We have all noticed these lesions appearing in the last couple of days. And we reached out to our friend Leomund, who, by the way, he's found a new place for us to continue our studies. So next time we talk, it won't be back in Barovia. It'll be at a grand university that he's found, a place called Strixhaven. Much more pleasant than that awful Amber Temple. But
Is out with the sticks?
pardon?
Is out with the sticks then? 'Cause it's called Stixhaven.
And Adaluk looks at the rest of you and says, no, Strixhaven. Strixhaven. It's a cosmopolitan universe, but that's not important right now. What's important is that we have learned that an old foe is up to a new trick. Have any of you heard of the legend of a lich that calls himself Acererak?
Oh, yeah, a few times in Mordor.
Huh.
Nope.
Okay, well,
Falazure have to roll.
no. As bards, both Bell and Falazure would have heard and
Hang
told
tight.
many stories about Acererak. It seems that Acererak has come to the Forgotten Realms and is trying to, well, he's trying to give birth to a god. And the way he's doing that is by this sickness that you see that is afflicting us. We've come to understand that everyone who has died on the plane of Toril and has been resurrected is now slowly wasting away. And everyone who dies on Toril cannot be resurrected until Acererak's current project is found and dealt with. Down in the jungles of Chult, he has constructed something that our auguries are calling a soul engine. This soul engine is devouring the souls of everyone who dies in Toril, and is using that to try to give life energy to this god that Acererak is trying to create there. Now, I don't know about you, but I think it takes an awful lot of hubris to think that you could create a god. But that's apparently what Acererak thinks he can do. So, when you go and deal with Iymrith, the good news is that Iymrith will not be able to be resurrected. Because when she dies, she's going to get sucked to that soul engine. Just like everybody else. The bad news is, you better not let her kill you. Because if you die, you'll get sucked to that soul engine too. The same goes for your giant and dragon friends out there. They die, they're kind of up the creek without a paddle. So, do this job. We will continue researching what we can, try to find an exact location of this soul engine, as it's being called, in the jungles of Chult. When you have dealt with Iymrith, we will bring you to Strixhaven for a little bit of rest and recuperation, and then we will take you back to Chult and let you get to work on this next problem. I'm certain that this is all connected with what's going on with the Cult of the Dragon. It seems like something that would be outside the scope of what the Cult of the Dragon is doing, but I have to think that as they get closer and closer to trying to raise Tiamat from Avernus, and knowing the massive number of forces that will be arrayed against them, and the absolute bloodshed that is going to cause, I don't think it's an accident that Acererak chose this time to create this soul engine. If he's successful, he's going to be able to feed it a whole heck of a lot of souls when and if Tiamat actually returns to the material plane. We cannot let that happen. So, just wanted to give you this little update. Remember, we have all the confidence in the world in you, and we are counting on you, and literally our lives depend on your success. So
As
don't let us
always,
down.
as always, Mordenkainen, great pep talk. Appreciate it.
A pat
thumbs
Miller
up.
on the back. Here.
Falazure speaks up. He's like, "Why is it every damn time we see you, you bring us bad news?"
News. I just helped you with this. Contract. This agreement between this is a historic time. I have done a great service for you. I'm
Thaldohr
just giving
speaks
you
up.
a warning.
Mordenkainen. I have
Yes.
this party that you see before you helped create this historic moment, this footnote in history. And I hold up a copy of I always make copies of my contracts. I hold up the copy that I hold on to. We helped do this. You helped seal the deal. But in also helping us seal the deal, you gave us, as Falazure just said, bad news. Why us? Why out of this ragtag group of adventurers that most of us started out on a caravan and now ended up, doing the craziest things I'll never understand? Explain that one to me, Mordenkainen. Explain.
And he says, he turns to Adaluk and Leomund and says, "Can you believe their ingratitude?" And Leomund just shakes his head and puts a hand on Mordenkainen's shoulder and it sort of pulls Mordenkainen back. And Leomund steps up and he says, "What my esteemed colleague is trying to say, and his ego is too big to let him actually get the words out of his mouth,
is that the reason, Thaldohr, that we are bringing this to you is that there's no one else that we think could be capable of fulfilling this mission. You, time and time again, have proven yourselves above and beyond the expectations that anyone could have of you. I mean, why, over in Strixhaven, once I found out you were agents of Mordenkainen working in this plane, I scryed upon you, and I saw you fighting a battle on a ship to release that storm giant king out there. And then during the battle, I became terrified as an enormous kraken came up. But then one of you just simply told it to stop and go away. And it did. I don't think I've ever been able to do that. I doubt Mordenkainen's ever been able to do that.
Well, you just don't have the Falazure charm.
Yeah, in the nicest way, you guys were kind of locked in that ruin for a long time and you don't really get out very much.
Well, to Mordenkainen's credit, I mean, really, can you doubt his prowess with all the names he's lent his spells to? And, I mean, I would like to think that spellcasters will have some sort of memory of me from the spells that my name has been given to down through the ages. And Adaluk, why, he's another powerful caster. We have our place in history, but there are limitations on us that we don't even quite understand. I think it has something to do with the fact that it kind of shames me almost to say it, but it is what it is. It seems that when you get to a certain level of renown, and there are enough people across enough planes that begin to venerate you, build statues to you, and think maybe that they can even pray to you, it starts to be sort of a different set of rules that you operate by.
Sounds like a real drag, to be honest. There's a lot of people to worry about.
Well, that's just it. I never asked anybody to venerate me. I just was happy that I got to attach my name to some spells so that magic users and wizards and illusionists, as they studied their craft, they would remember me. That would have been fine for me. But, you know, the more people start to venerate you, you realize that you start to age a lot slower. But then you realize that you're very limited in what you can actually do in the physical material realm. You can't go out there and be the swashbuckling adventurer you used to be, because, well, the powers that be, the divinities, would think that would just throw things out of balance. So instead of us being able to do things on our own, we have to find agents that can act on our behalf. That's where you all come in.
Okay, so where are these agents going to find this engine thingy that's stopping bringing people back from the dead?
First things first, Grenade. We got to take care of a big blue pest. Then we can worry about Soul Engine. Yeah. That's on our plane. Wait a minute, I'll look over it.
If we kill this giant dragon, right? It's so big, it's got to have a soul the size of itself. So isn't that just going to go into this giant engine and fuel it? Like you would put like 10 lumps of coal instead of one into a fire.
But maybe we can track it.
Oh, that's very clever. How do we do that? We color it or something?
I point at the finger wagglers. Look, see them guys? Massive finger wagglers. They know how to do it.
Oh, that's good.
Right. So what I'm thinking is, let's handle Big Blue Betty, okay? Then I look over at Falazure. Falazure, what do you think about this plan after we knock out this dragon?
It might work.
We've done crazier. We've been some crazy places. I tell you what. Before we found Ukraine and Tack, goodness gracious, have we been some crazy places. But I mean, even Mulek knows we've been some crazy places. But honestly, I wouldn't go anywhere else without this group right here.
Leomund says, well, Tensor is at Strixhaven. He's continuing research in our absence, but we will be teleporting back there soon.
So wait, you got Mordenkainen out of his mansion? Whoa.
Oh, he has a new mansion on the grounds at the university.
Of course he does.
And of course, well, yeah, we have to make sure every morning that all the party goers leave before it dissipates. But that's another problem. Anyway, Tensor is researching over there. We will continue researching. We hope that by the time you finish dealing with this Iymrith, this Doom of the Desert, that we will have pinpointed where you need to go in Schult. But right now, there is, you talk of tracking. There are some indications that there are something like ley lines of death that are forming in this world, and they all seem to be converging over Schult. So that's what leads us to believe that this is somewhere there. We have a few places that are suspect, but we will need to do further research to pinpoint it. And like I said,
it's on our plane of existence, correct?
Oh, yes. That's why it's affecting people who have died here. Like these colleagues of mine.
Understandable.
Yes, back in the old days, we would have just, rounded up 100 good men-at-arms, outfitted them with, magical weapons, and we would have charged in there headlong to deal with Acererak ourselves. But like I said, the rules are different for us now.
Does that mean we can hire 100 men-at-arms and then charge into?
We don't have that kind of money, but we might after killing the dragon.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Hey, my computer whizzed out the last minute. What can someone summarize what just was said?
We were just talking about killing the dragon and about Acererak on this plane, and that they're still sick.
Did you hear about the soul engine? Did you hear that part?
Yeah, I heard all that part. Yeah,
cool.
Making a game plan is what we're doing after we deal with Big Blue Betty.
Raise her hand and point to the oldies and say, well, you keep on talking about these rules, but you guys have bent them before and shaped them in their own different ways, so why can't you just do it again? Say screw the rules and make your own.
And Adaluk looks at Belle And he smiles and he says, "Don't think that we haven't tried." This the old man, and he nods his head over towards Mordenkainen. The old man spent 2 centuries trying to buck the rules. Because, I mean, he didn't care if Mistra herself told him to his face what the rules were. He had to find out if there was a way around it. Apparently, there's not. I believe that in the general parlance, you would consider our status now as demigods. We're,
I'll
across.
only chuckle and say, "Not demigods. You guys are just oldies."
Maybe they're old demigods.
Well, to you, Belle, we are just a bunch of old farts. That's fine. But there are at least the last that I've heard, there are at least 100 shrines to me across more than a dozen worlds where spells that I developed are studied. And people seem to think that I somehow, by lifting up their adoration and prayer and everything to me, that's somehow going to make them better. I don't know if it helps them at all. All I know is that it limits what I'm able to do now that many people are following me, if you will. You give me a problem that's on the astral plane or in Celestia, I can go out and I can fight it all day, just like back in the old days. But in the natural world, not so much. Same with Mordenkainen and Leomund, Tensor, and the rest of us. We're lucky that we can still have physical form here. And we're unlucky in the fact that by having physical form here, things like this death curse still affect us.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about that? It's looking really, real nasty. It's got a pustuling.
Well, the good thing is that I grew very, very strong in my magic. And we estimate that from the time we noticed this about 3 or 4 days ago, we estimate from that time that I have still 120 or so days before I die. But every day I get a tiny bit weaker. And I get a tiny bit closer to that demise. So
what's the
yeah.
plan with stopping it?
You're the plan.
Oh.
You and your friends are the plan.
I'm not a very good doctor.
No, Grenade. They want us to go take out this ancient lich, stop his machine to stop the spread of the infection that's affecting them.
Well, Thaldohr, no. We're not asking you to destroy Acererak. That's probably beyond you. But destroying his machine will be sufficient enough. Once you destroy his machine, then the death curse goes away.
Right, Tensor, but let's be honest here as I look him in the eye. You might have a lot of age on me, but I have a lot of wisdom. I'm telling you right now, do you think this lich gonna let us walk in there? Hi, Mr. Lich, let me just destroy your death machine and we're not gonna get out alive? So no, we'll probably have to fight him in the process. That's just my logic. Tell me I'm wrong.
Hey, not to mention, if any of you die, my ability to bring you back from the death won't make a hell of beans.
Well, that's here nor there, depending on how long after death. You know, that varies.
Your
Yes.
soul will get sucked up into this engine thingy, and then you can't do nothing.
What's my
Yes.
window, Mordenkainen, for bringing someone back from the dead using divine magic?
Well, that depends. He says, well, that depends on how much time elapses between when they die and when you destroy the soul engine. It's a complicated formula. We know that the soul engine probably has a maximum rate at which it devours souls, and so the rate at which people die means that the fuel that it has goes in, and we really don't know enough to know about whether it's like the oldest fuel is used first or the most tasty and vibrant fuel is used first. So it could be a matter of a few days, or it could be a matter of months, depending on how many people pass between the time you lose somebody close to you and the time you destroy that soul engine.
So, if we got like 100 rats, right, and if someone died and we just chucked all the rats off a cliff, would that like give us enough time to get the person out?
No, it doesn't work like that.
No.
Beasts typically don't have souls as we think of them. It would have to be some kind of sentient creature.
So apparently, Cornet, we have enough time if something were to happen to us.
Well, that's good. I'm very glad to hear that. Father Cool was very adamant that if I did die, you could just do some finger stuff and then I'd be back.
Well, now the good news is that in Thaldohr, yes, Leomund says, Thaldohr, yes, you're absolutely right. If you walk in and you try to disrupt Acererak's plans, he will not be there at first to face you. He will have his minions and his devious traps and his dangers of whatever place he has constructed to house this soul engine. He was ever one for making death entertaining for him and horrifying for adventurers. So he will have plenty of things there that you will have to make your way through before you can get to the soul engine. If you attack the soul engine, it would not be out of the realm of possibility that he would show up himself to try to defend it. The good news is that once you destroy the soul engine, even if he destroys you, we can gather your remains, bring them back, and we can make sure that you are restored.
Why is that so sweet of you? You hear this, Falazure? Am my ears deceiving me?
Oh my goodness, I feel safer already, Thaldohr.
Right. I surely do. No disrespect to you, Tenzer. No disrespect, Leomund. And especially you, Mordenkainen. No disrespect. But thank you, Leomund. That does make me feel a little bit more secure in our mission. But because from our point of view, no offense, again, looking at Mordenkainen, he's not been very helpful. Let's just be honest. Now look over at Mulek.
And Mordenkainen just shakes his head and says, the chance to become legends in their own lifetimes.
Mordenkainen, you've lived enough lifetimes beyond us, buddy. No offense.
Well, yes, I have.
Norton mumbled, oldie.
Yes, I have, young man. And you can consider this me just paying it forward, giving the next generation a chance.
Well, I don't do much of the magic at all. That'd be the man standing behind you. So if you really want to help somebody, help Mulek there. Teach him as much as you can. Here's the thing, Leomund, and here's the thing, Mordenkainen. When we're done taking down this dragon, gods help us if we can't. But we take down this dragon. I expect when we go to this place, Strixhaven, that Mulek gets as much of the royal carpet treatment as he can get and learn as much magic as he can get. Because we're apparently, and Falazure and Bell as well, because we're going to need it.
You know, Mulek, if you want to learn something useful, it's Odaluk here you got to be talking to.
Well, I do know one of Lehman's tricks. I just haven't been able to use it very often. So, Lehman, thank
Really?
you for
you're welcome.
your creations. I just haven't been able to use this particular spell that often for some reason. But
Which one is it?
oh, it's your mighty fine hut spell.
Oh, yes. That'll do it. That'll do in a pinch. Of course, after I created the hut and showed how useful and utilitarian it was for people that were actually out adventuring. Of course, Morty here had to go and create his mansion, which is gaudy, ostentatious, impractical. I mean, when you're out adventuring, you really don't need a mansion. You need a place that you can hide, a place you can stay unseen, a place that will let you rest and recuperate. The hut is all you need. And Mordenkainen just says, if you're a savage.
I mean, no offense to both of you. You're great wizards in your own right, but Odaluk's protection magic is probably next to the gods, in my opinion.
And Odaluk inclines his head and says, oh, well, thank you. I had to develop that after many adventures and close calls and finding a lot of really nasty monsters.
Well,
What led to the development of that?
maybe someday I'll learn how to be able to cast it.
Well, after you finish dealing with this dragon, come join us in Strixhaven for a few days. Yes, Mulek, you and your friends, I think, as Thaldohr said, will all be entitled to a bit of the royal treatment. I think you'll like Strixhaven, Mulek. There's an incredible library there. Largest library I've ever seen.
Oh, I love libraries. I look forward to
Oh,
it.
yes. I'll pick out some good things for you to look at.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I think we've left Tensor on his own long enough. We'd better be getting back.
One thing very quickly.
Yes.
This soul engine, right? This thing that you're talking about. Do you know how big it is? Like, how much gunpowder do I need to bring? How much blasted powder?
We cannot give you information on that yet. After you deal with the dragon, by the time you get to Strixhaven, we'll have more than enough information for you, I believe.
Okay.
Very well. All right. Good luck to all of you. Be well. Take care. And may the gods go with you.
It's just one, actually.
Just one?
Yeah, I only know one.
Which one do you know?
Barbecue. Guy with a big hammer.
Well, don't let Morden hear you say that. I don't think he would be too happy.
Don't know him. Never met him.
Well, next time I see him, I will not tell him you said that.
Well,
Let's
say
put it
hello
that
to
way.
me, and if I would love to meet him. You know, everyone keeps speaking about him and writing about him and talking about him. Any dwarf will be like, oh, Moradin this and Moradin that. But I've never met the guy, so I don't know.
Very well. Well, keep on as you are, and someday you all may have the chance.
Oh, I'll be fine.
All right. We will take our leave now.
Safe travels.
And
Under the sticks.
yeah, and then before as Leomund looks like he's getting ready to cast this spell, Mordenkainen says, "Oh wait, I almost forgot," and he pulls out this parchment, and he hands it over to you, and it has some information about the defenses that Iymrith has in her lair. And
I hope we get her out of her lair.
And you say that out loud, that you hope you
Yes.
get her out. And they all look at you and they shake their heads. They say, I wouldn't count on it. When a dragon gets to be that old, it knows where its advantages are. Unless you somehow have the ability to locate her and teleport her out of her lair against her will, there's not much chance you're going to find her outside. She will have ways of knowing when people get close enough to threaten her lair, and she will hunker down and put all of her defenses into array, or all of her defenses into play.
Hmm.
Oh, there'd be lots of defenses if it's an old dwarf hold. I'd keep an eye out.
Oh yes, but you've got other dragons. You've got giants with you. You should be fine.
They are very big.
Yes. But this will give you some warning so that you can be better prepared. All right, and they will then do their spell, and off they go. And they wink out of, or they appear to wink out of existence.
I'm amazed they actually came in person.
Yeah, and miss his chance to brag.
Well, I'm kind of glad his buddy, Leomund actually gave us a compliment. Because he was right. I had to agree with him. Mordenkainen's ego is bigger than the universe.
Well, the only one I like out of him is Luke anyway. I think I've said that before.
You have. But it looks like Leomund's got a good head on his shoulders.
They seem a bit ill, but other than that, they seem okay.
They always send us on these fool's errands. But yeah, we do something magnificent, like bring together the giants and the dragons. And Mordenkainen looks down on us like we're sheep.
I love how you sit there and try to take credit for it all, too.
I said, yeah, he's tried to take credit for it all. I said the party. Because it's true. It was a party effort.
It was a party effort. We should be proud of that. It was a very, very intense situation. You know, it was pretty developed. We made lifelong bonds and friends. Yeah, I'd say it was pretty important.
Right. And he takes effort for walking in last second. I wish Dez could be here to see this, though.
I'd slap him, I'm sure.
Dez? Why would you slap Dez?
No. You slapped the.
Oh, he probably would have slapped the taste off Mordenkainen's mouth. Yeah,
Yeah, in bear form.
you're right. But he'd be proud to see what was going on with everything here, though.
We got to catch up with him at some point. Make sure he's all right, because it sounded pretty serious.
Yeah. We'll send him a message eventually and check on him.
Yeah.
But I think we should get back to make sure everything's good with this meeting, I guess, and we gotta get back to the forges.
Absolutely, you can't let those fire giants take the lead. That's not going to happen.
No. But let's go check on Felagos and them.
Yeah, as you peruse the information that Mordenkainen gave you, you basically learn that one of the most valuable things you learn is about the statuary that is on the surface level of Iymrith's lair. You learn that the rumors have always said that those statues are former victims of hers that have been turned into stone, or former enemies of hers. But you learn that these are actually gargoyles. And they are gargoyles that act as basically her first wave of defense for anybody that attacks the lair. They will be deployed against enemies, and they will attack physically with their own natural attacks, but also there are some trebuchet that are mounted on the ruins of that arena, and they will use the trebuchet to fire at range against enemies. So that will be good against both airborne and ground enemies that come to attack her there. And then there are also, in strategic locations around that area, there are sinkholes that lead to the underground portions of her lair that can be used both as means of escape if the dragon is on the surface, or as places where she could ambush somebody if they get too close.
Oh, I sure hope those trebuchets aren't loaded with dwarf alchemist fire. That'd be very bad.
Yeah, so
We probably need to discuss these plans with the consortium that's in the next room.
yeah,
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, especially if death is really bad right now, right? I know if we act quickly, we'll be okay. But death, bad juju. They need to know that.
I don't think we let them know that. I think that let's hold our horses on that one. I think they were telling us that in confidence. Let's
If they die,
they can be brought back. They probably have healers and maybe people that can do that within their own group. But I'm just saying, and dragons are hardy things. They have their own means of magic. But I think we just stick to the plan. We take down Big Bad Blue and then take on our next project. We just let them know of the defenses that we just found out about.
I think they should be forewarned about the whole death situation. Maybe not the fact their soul's going to get sucked up, but maybe just something else.
I wouldn't know where to begin on that one. Mulek, do you have any ideas, Falazure?
Just tell them to not let anyone die.
It's easier said than done.
I know there were some dwarven battle berserkers who relied on dying as part of their strategic advantage. They'd be raised back from the dead and grab people full of spiky armor they were.
Yeah, well, that's all Mordenkainen told us. Don't die. So,
yeah, we say the same. If they want to find out more, they could ask him directly. Not a problem.
That's fair. What say you, Falazure? Tack?
you also find out that
Go ahead, Gally.
Okay.
Yeah.
You also find out that there is a a map to the underground layer. So that you guys can sort of take a look at that and get an idea of what the of how you might want to go about
They handed the
dealing
map to us.
with that underground layer once you get into the lower layer. Yep, that's part of the parchment that they gave you.
Cool.
So you guys can go ahead and take a look at that. Let me actually. You go back into the main audience hall, and you can start talking to them. So go ahead and what would you say to these guys as you get there?
Well, first, before we entered, Tack had been asked his opinion.
Okay.
And Tack kind of looks at the others and goes, "Yeah, I would say just say that we were warned not to die. That they're passing on just that, hey, don't die, blah, blah, blah. Because sometimes if we get into the weeds on, or when people get into the weeds on some of these more technical things, it brings out a little bit more fear and possibly more hesitation and keeps people from going to that next level, so to speak. I think we should
everybody give me a... What would this be? Usually insight is reading people, but everybody go ahead and give me an insight check. As you're thinking back to your conversation with the three wizards.
I had crappy insight that day.
Okay, Mulek, Tack, Bell, Falazure. Thaldohr is an 11. Who else are we missing?
Oh, I would
Crenraid.
forget.
Crenraid. Okay,
I volunteered
Crenraid.
to fail because Crenraid would 100%.
Okay, all right. So, 4 of you have a notion that perhaps that's why they waited until after the dragons and the giants signed that agreement before they revealed the presence of that. Now that they are all under the compulsion of a Geas, they kind of are obliged to fulfill the terms of that, which is going after and destroying Iymrith. If they were not under that compulsion, some of them, yes, may get cold feet about taking on such an enemy. But now that they are bound to that, they kind of don't have a choice.
But basically, the way Tack looks at it is they could think that maybe they were duped into this. So it might be best not to say much at all.
You could feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So some of their battle texts may rely on them dying. They should be told.
Tack just shrugs. I was asked for my opinion. I gave it.
Yeah, you guys might have an axe to grind with Mordenkainen as well on that score, because he waited until after you signed that agreement before he told you to. So you guys didn't get any advanced warning about that any more than the dragons and the giants did.
Well,
So-
it'll just ensure that no one pulls a Leroy Jenkins. So
Who's Leroy
Yeah,
Jenkins?
yeah, that's
Like-
true.
But I was gonna somebody and let Thaldohr in on that a little bit. Like he kind of had an idea, but he didn't. Like it's like I knew something was wrong, but then I also knew I'm the one that made the contract. Also, what you forgot to
Yeah.
say in the contract was that's in the contract is that we also have to take care of any heirs of Iymrith in the future.
Yeah, any heirs that try to avenge
Claim,
her
yeah,
death.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
So-
other than that, we should be hunky dory, guys, and ready to go. I mean, we couldn't have any more big enough group to take on a dragon. Like honestly,
Yeah, we've got some really great allies with these fire giants and these other giants that can do other things, right? Yeah, overall we're looking real swell, I must say.
if we can't take down that dragon with the group, we got something's wrong.
Out of out of character, Falazure is just like listening to this and he's thinking, when in game lore, when's the last time someone took down a freaking ancient dragon?
About to say you're the lore bard.
You know that there are stories of that happen. Now, killing dragons happens probably across Faerun a couple of times a month. Killing an ancient dragon, that maybe happens every 50 to 100 years.
Oh wow!
It's very rare.
If that often.
If that often, yeah.
Probably more like every couple hundred years. Yeah.
Let me just see. I want to do.
Because the dragon that Dorzafir and Abinadam and them killed was I don't even think it was an adult dragon, was it?
No, it was a young dragon.
A young dragon. Oh yeah.
Yeah, doing quick back of the envelope arithmetic, Falazure, the most recent story you remember hearing about an ancient dragon being killed was 194 years ago.
Jeez.
Falazure speaks up. He's like, we got to be careful because we're talking about an ancient dragon that only happens like maybe. Well, the last time that happened was 194 years ago, if memory serves me correctly.
that seems
Wow.
pretty precise, Falazure.
Well, I do tend to remember a few things here and there.
Yeah, in the Forgotten Realms, literally every year of the Forgotten Realms has a name. It's like, this is the year of thus and so, and this is the year of thus and so, and yada yada. And so by knowing, all of the stories of major events, they mention what year it happened in. And basically, as a lore bard, you kind of have this encyclopedic knowledge of the order of the years. And so he remembers, oh, it was the year of that. And then he remembers, okay, 100 years later than that would be the year of that. And has it been? No, it hasn't been 100 years. So they quickly, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Oh, yeah, it's been 194 years since that happened. So by knowing the name of one year when an event happened, he can very quickly, by reference, figure out how long ago that's been, just basically by counting in hundreds or tens or ones from that year to the next milestone year. So that's the way lore bards keep track of all that stuff.
So
All
I
right.
guess this is an accord that happens once every 200 years then, huh?
Well, they don't always have giants and dragons working together. Okay, the last thing we're going to do tonight is we are going to bring you to this parchment that you roll out for the that you roll out for the
The Accord.
nope, for this map. Okay. The map of the underground lair.
Whoa.
Okay.
Woof.
Where what you can tell is that this is mainly based on an old dwarvish temple, underground complex that has been expanded. And so, it's got some terrain features on there, and it's got information about what is suspected or known of some of the dangers that are in there. There's an area here up at the top, up at the far north, that is a shrine that is listed as having been corrupted. It's no longer a dwarven shrine. It's a shrine to some entity called Dendar the Night Serpent.
Unacceptable!
And there's at least a couple of you studious types and bard types that would know that Dendar the Night Serpent is an entity venerated by the Yuan-Ti. These evil, snake people. Then there's supposed to be a bottomless pit here. It's conjectured that this area over here is the treasure hoard. Over here in this area where she would have her treasure. Then there's it's speculated that down here at the bottom is is something that is called the purple worm breeding ground. So it's possible that there's purple worms that are part of this layer as well. So you start to show this to the dragons and the giants, and they all start to put their strategic thinking caps on, and that's where we will leave it for the evening. Now, a question for you guys. James reminded me that next week he has a cruise, and obviously with Wi-Fi out at sea being what it is, and he's not going to be able to join us. So would you guys like to have a session next week and kind of get, take as long as it takes to get up to getting ready to have our fight? Or would you like to use this week and next week in Discord to sort of figure out what your plans are, find out what the giants and dragons are going to do, and then we'll have a brief recap in 2 weeks, and we start the assault on the lair.
I wouldn't mind doing some just role play and
Okay.
doing that final little bits here and there, getting a chance to, while we're having to sit on our thumbs for a few minutes here or there, waiting
Okay.
for something to be done, doing some in-character role playing and whatnot.
Sounds good. Still working on Falazure's armor, so some
Right.
RP
Yep.
Okay.
there
All
and
right.
Sounds
stuff.
great. That RP sounds fine for me. I need to practice
Okay.
with my weapon anyways.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
You guys,
All
hey,
right.
yeah,
And do some other stuff as well.
yeah, you guys. I would imagine you guys will talk and sort of game plan a strategy, and then communicate that to Mulek, and then Mulek will go off to prepare whatever spells that he needs to think about, and maybe roll with it that way.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah, Thaldohr pretty much relayed everything to Mulek, pretty much, back and forth.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So we will go ahead and have our regular session next week. This is basically like a big boss fight, if you will, and as you can tell from the way this is designed, you're probably going to be glad you have allies going into this fight.
Yeah,
So,
this will be interesting. I've done this a few times, but never with this many allies before.
yes. It should be quite a fun thing. I've done some Royal Rumbles before in games that I have run, and I've been part of Royal Rumbles in games that I've played in, and they can be quite a bit of fun. But once they start, they just kind of are nonstop, on the edge of your seat. Watch out and see which thing is going to get toppled this round.
what we love
and
about
For the whole seat, but only use the edge.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, viewers, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We will be back next week. Unfortunately, James will not be with us, but we're gonna get as far as we can before assaulting the temple next week. Hopefully we'll get right up there so that when we come back, we can, in 2 weeks, we can roll initiative and boom, go. But join us next week for those final preparations, and then James, we look forward to, hopefully you can be with us in 2 weeks so we can take on this big dragon.
Enjoy
Awesome.
your cruise, mate.
Yes.
Yeah, we
enjoy
my wife and myself and our two children that we're going to take with us, we all passed our COVID tests, so none of us
Yay!
have COVID. So yeah, the cruise is on. So we're gonna go.
Enjoy.
Just
Thanks.
make sure you take precautions on the cruise so you don't wind up being like quarantined on the cruise.
Yeah. Well, we're all vaccinated and we've never had any symptoms for anything.
Oh yeah, but still,
hopefully
it's
we'll
just
be
one
good.
of those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, we'll make sure
Yeah.
not to lick someone else's, food. So should be okay.
God.
What if it's
Oh,
really,
God.
really tasty?
Oh my goodness.
Well, y'all have a great night. I got to see my
Yeah, I
occupation
gotta get going, but you guys
Okay.
take
in the
care.
morning. So
All
love
right,
y'all. See you
and
next week.
Great
Paul, before you take off, anything coming up in the next week that you want to let people know about before?
Absolutely, yeah. So I play a couple of streams, and when I say a couple, I mean like 6. I like to stream around on Tuesdays. I have a game which doesn't conflict with any of Galleys, which is perfect. I play in the Wild Beyond the Witchlight campaign run by Adam over at Gaijin Games. Great bunch of people, always a fun time. It's Feywild shenanigans and crazy stuff that he's created in this Alice in Wonderland mixture of LSD and tea. I have no idea how to describe it other than that. It's pure fantasy nonsense, and it's lovely. So that's your cup of tea. Then over at Gaijin Games on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. CST.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. And then here on this channel, if you're watching on the YouTube, tomorrow we will have another Lore Friday premiere, doing our next focus on the Out of the Abyss campaign, looking at the adventure for Into Darkness there from that. Saturday night we will have our Saturday night Greyhawk game 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where we're doing the Temple of Elemental Evil, and they will be going back for their second assault on the dungeons of the temple on Saturday night. Then Sunday, they are in their big dungeon crawl in the Walker of Waterdeep game. That's 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. And then Monday night, I will be doing my one mic stream, continuing to look at the brand new monsters that were released in the Acquisitions Incorporated adventure. And this is the Keg robot that we'll be looking at on Monday night. So something near and dear to Krenraid's heart, I believe.
Absolutely. Also,
Yes.
Also my heart, because I have the magic card and I love it a bit.
Yeah. Yes. So we'll be looking at that particular monster on Monday, and then we'll be back next week to get us up to the doorstep of taking on Iymrith. All right, everyone. Have a great week, and I am going to bring us over to, looks like Squeeze God. Squeeze God is running a D&D game, so let's go check out what they are doing. All right, everyone, take care. We hope that you will have a great week, and we hope we'll see you next time